Welcome back, focused learners. I am so incredibly excited for today's explainer because we're diving into the wonderfully fascinating world of occupational therapy. Seriously, we're going to break down exactly what this amazing field is, how it completely transforms lives, and why it's actually considered one of the absolute most rewarding career paths out there today. If you've ever been curious about how humans manage to get back to working, playing, and just living their absolute best lives after a major setback, well, you are in exactly the right place. Let's start right off with a quick question to get us thinking. If you break your arm, you know for sure you need to see a physical therapist, right? You got to heal that injury. But who actually teaches you how to button your shirt again? Who helps you figure out how to cook your favorite meal when you've got limited mobility? That right there highlights the practical magic of occupational therapy, or OT for short. It is literally the vital bridge between medical recovery and everyday living. So here is our game plan for today. We're taking a really cool zoom-in, zoom-out journey. First, what is occupational therapy? Second, OT across the lifespan. Third, navigating sensory processing. And fourth, the OT career outlook. We've got clear answers and some really exciting career data coming up.
All right, let's dive right into Section 1. What is occupational therapy?
To really wrap our heads around this, it's super helpful to look at the ultimate contrast between PT and OT. Physical therapy mostly focuses on improving movement, strength, and physical function. You can kind of think of it as fixing the machine, right? But occupational therapy, it takes this beautiful, holistic approach that focuses on meaningful daily activities. And we're not just talking about your day job. We're talking about the business of living. Dressing, eating, playing, socializing, the whole shebang.
Because of this incredibly holistic focus, OTs look at the big picture, the physical, cognitive, and emotional challenges a person is facing. Take a stroke patient, for example. An OT definitely looks at how the stroke affected their muscle function, but then they take that information and use it to develop a super practical plan. That could literally mean modifying the client's home environment or giving them special adaptive tools so they can safely relearn how to cook their own meals. It's all about looking at the environment and the psychology of the patient to restore true, lasting independence.
Moving gracefully right along to Section 2, OT across the lifespan.
What's truly amazing is how OTs magically adapt their skills for literally every single stage of a human's life. If we walk through these different settings, you'll see exactly what I mean. In a pediatric setting, OTs are often doing play-based activities with kids who have developmental delays. It looks like pure fun, but it's actually highly targeted to build motor skills and hand-eye coordination. Then, in a rehab setting, an OT might be right there in the clinic designing exercises and even molding custom splints by hand. And for elderly clients, the focus beautifully shifts to keeping them safe and maintaining their quality of life at home, like doing fall prevention training or getting grab bars installed in the bathroom. Okay, let's shift gears to Section 3, Navigating Sensory Processing. This is a truly fascinating specialty area.
A huge part of what OTs do involves helping folks, especially those with autism or developmental delays, navigate sensory processing disorders. They do this through something called sensory integration therapy. Basically, when a person's brain has a hard time processing everyday sensory input, like sights, sounds, smells, tastes, or even touch, OTs use these amazing therapeutic activities to help them process and respond to all that information in a much more organized and adaptive way.
And guys, the tools they use for this are just so incredibly cool. To help a kiddo who is overly sensitive to movement or touch, an OT might use swinging and bouncing. They might use deep pressure activities or a weighted vest to give this really calming, grounding sensation. For someone who gets overwhelmed by loud noises, noise-canceling headphones can be an absolute game changer. They even create what's called a sensory diet, which isn't about food at all. It's actually a highly personalized schedule of sensory activities that keeps the client regulated and focused throughout their entire day. It makes therapy feel like super fun play.
But here is an absolutely crucial point. OTs do not work in a vacuum. A clinic is great and all, but real life happens at home and at school. So OTs provide training and team up directly with caregivers and teachers to create beautifully supportive environments everywhere the client goes. By empowering the whole community around a child or adult, they make sure these awesome strategies actually work in the real world.
All right, let's zoom back out to the macro level for our final section, Section 4, the OT Career Outlook. If you're thinking about this as a career, get a load of this number, 14%.
The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics projects a massive 14% job growth rate for occupational therapists from 2021 to 2031. That is way, way faster than the average for most occupations. And it makes total sense, right? It's being fueled by an aging population that wants to stay independent, plus a huge vital need for early intervention programs.
And the economic reality of this career is incredibly bright, too. Check out this median annual wage from 2023, $96,370. To put that into perspective, it shows that choosing to become an OT isn't just deeply personally rewarding because you're helping people, it's also a highly stable and lucrative professional choice.
Now, your specific earning potential can shift slightly depending on exactly where you choose to work. As we look at the data, OTs working in home care services or nursing care facilities tend to pull in the highest salaries in the field. Working in schools or outpatient care centers might pay slightly less, but honestly, the compensation is still super competitive across the board. It really just gives you the flexibility to choose the exact environment that matches your passion.
So how do you actually get there? Well, the academic journey is rigorous, but it is perfectly structured. First up, you need a bachelor's degree. Then you'll tackle a master's degree in occupational therapy, which usually takes another 2 to 3 years. After that, you have to pass the big NCBCOT licensure exam. And finally, you commit to continuing education, because the world of rehabilitative medicine is always evolving, and OTs are lifelong learners.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this one thought. What occupations and tiny, daily moments of independence do you take for granted every single day? Is it tying your shoes, making a cup of coffee, just typing on a keyboard? When age, illness, or an injury takes those moments away, it is the occupational therapist who steps in to give them back. They don't just heal the body, they literally restore your life. So keep that everyday superpower in mind and never stop learning.